of the great bar. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I listened to one of the tribute makers mention you that who happened to be an ebullient member of the bar, and his encounter with late FM Obianyo. I want to ask this question. In any way, do you have an encounter with the deceased?
Chief Obianyo, my relationship with him started, you could say before I was born, because he was my father's contemporary, the same age. They both went to London, they read law, came back almost the same time, and thereafter started in like my father, he was one of the first generation lawyers. I joined much later, early 90s, with Obianyo's son, Obio, who has been my friend from that time. But we have been family friends for ages, and that relationship has continued up to date, even at his death. So I knew Chief, as we used to call him, very, very well. From 91, 92. There were a series of encounters, both in court and outside court. A lot of experiences I had. So he wasn't a new face of person to me at all.
Like your father's contemporary he was.
Yes.
How successful could you rate him?
Obianyo was a very successful one. Like I said, he was first generation, and there were few in our class at that time, with few juniors. So he had everything going for him. His practice was good, very, very good. And we've had a few cases in court between me and him, and I learned a few lessons from that case. So to measure his level of success, you can say he was a very successful man. And that is why he left this legacy of his two children, the son and the daughter, and a lot of others that he has mentored. He was good. He was good as a lawyer.
I appreciate your analysis. Yeah, very much. Good evening.
Good evening.
We listened to the discussants from the late one. Ejike is the one who said, also listened to the tribute makers from the church. They all not just a comment to the departed lady. They also said a lot of things they are concerned about it. When they say all those things revolve around. The question now comes, in what area in particular would you want to imitate your father's eyes and teeth?
That's a big one. He's a man of many parts. And a man of many parts is not whole without all the parts. You get me? That's why you can't divide an elephant. So I want to take all. And that's why in my tribute, I couldn't write a normal tribute, because I didn't know where to start and where to stop. I captioned it my last letter to my daddy. I said he's a man of many parts. And I only highlight paragraphs of these parts. For a man that said if it's not law, she will not be a graduate, I said thank you. For a man that watched me from distance, I said thank you. For a man that made me see that after 10 years post-call, if I'm not well grounded, I'm useless as a lawyer, I said thank you. For a man that will ask me, can you build the signboard Obianyo and Co? Do you think it's just money? If you can, give it a try. I said thank you. For a man that makes sure that all his classmates, you can see one came today, I went round all of them. I did pupillage in all their chambers. From Obianyo, I'm assigned to each one every other year, including the judges of Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, I said thank you. For a man that will watch you without your knowing you are being watched, visit the university to see how you live your life without your knowing it. You've graduated, you have your life, and you feel you can live in Lagos anywhere. He will come to Lagos and visit you and encourage you that the path you've taken is not the right one. Where do I start? For a man that will hold himself and allow me to be a shopkeeper at Okosi Road for close to 2 years because I wanted to read finance and maintain that I can only be a graduate if I'm a lawyer. How do you see that? He didn't have that option with the other children. Each one expressed what their discipline and he paid their school fees. But to this one, no. What do you want me to say? For a man that will search my suitcase when I'm going to law school, bring out everything in your suitcase and look at them one by one to make sure that there is no sugar daddy buying things for me. How do you see that? For a man that knew all my male friends and knew all my female friends, how do you see that? For a man that made sure that wherever he's going, I was in the car with him. I'll sit by the side and listen to his stories or discussions and know who are his friends. For a man, for everything he wrote, I proofread. How do you see it? For a man that made me know that there is what we call law of returns. That after giving back to you, giving you name, paying your school fees, being a staff in the office, giving you everything you need to carry on with your life, that you needed to return them back to him. He told me that was law of returns. And that's why I fought tooth and nail to do what I'm doing today. Because I had to return and buy that name back. Buy that status that I've enjoyed over the years back. And not to utilize his death as if he's a cockroach or an ant. No. It's what he taught me that I believed in. For a man that taught me to have courage, to speak out, even when I'm the only one speaking. How do you see that? I can go on and on and on and say, it's not something I can pick one part. You can now see why I had the passion that even meant taking loan to do what I'm doing today. For a man that prepared every friend and every Anglican's burial, it's called the Assisian burial. When somebody passes on, they call Bishop Oyemele will not call him. He takes over from there. Buy handkerchiefs in dozens for us to sing glory, 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 hallelujah. And you imitate the person passing on, moving in chariots like Elijah. How do you see that? Comes to burial of someone with 150 or 200 choristers. How do you see that? And sits only with the choir. Why there is a legal team? If priests are being canonized, he will not sit with the legal team. He will sit with the choir. Music works his life. Every one of my siblings knows music. You can now go into other arts and crafts. But music was number one. How do you see that? So you see that it's not born out of it must be this or that. No. It's born out of what he taught and gave us. That you must learn to draw close to God. So morning prayer had his music. And if you are sleeping, Chinese do better. That's when you're caught that you're sleeping. You must learn your psalms. You must know the hymns. And he taught us that each hymn served a purpose. When you are in need, I need you every hour. When you want to give back, take my heart, take my hands and let it be. When you want to do your daily labor, forth in thy name, O Lord, I go. We saw the meanings in those hymns. And on and on and on. So you find out that I wanted to read I said, you will be a beggar, begging people to buy your works. You are a woman. I want you to be independent. I don't want to go on and on and on. But you cannot see why I have to give back what he gave me in the manner I'm doing so. It's not a question of being proud, but a question of this man deserves it. Yes. And you can see from the turnout of events today, that is what he put in It's not my own effort. All I did was to kickstart it. He's the one driving it. It's what he put in for people. Each and every one of my nephews, in the chancery of their parents' burials, not less than 30 priests there. How do you see that? Not less than 30. And he foots the bill, the envelopes, the feeding, everything. Not one. He's the last to go of all his siblings. So he deserves what I'm doing today. And he deserves what I'm going to do on Sunday. This is a small one. What we're doing on Sunday is the bigger one.
The great jurist, the revered jurist of the Federal High Court, Lord O.J. Okeke, said behind the microphone to the hearing of many that you deserve a chieftaincy title. Will you accept it?
I will accept a chieftaincy title, but not one Ikanwoke, because I have pride in the calling of womanhood. I'm not a man, and I'm not struggling with the men folk in their career, in their track. I appreciate the manhood, but I appreciate what creation, what God bestowed on me as a woman, and I want to live a fulfilled life of the call womanhood. I didn't say motherhood, I said womanhood. That call is more than womanhood. So if you say one Ikibie, it's a nice one. Ada Natalugo is a nice one. So there are so many names I could take to utilize all that I've done and all I will do in the future. But I wouldn't want to contest with the men folk, because including you will put me in a square box.
Alright, the sage of the learned profession, the member of the body of benchers, who happened to be your father's contemporary.
Yes.
We are told he was Attorney General
of Old Imo State.
Last 30 years.
Yes.
Mention something about the carriage of your father, the lands in London. What do you tell the man, and what are your promises for him? He said he's the only one standing.
I'm very close to all my father's friends. If I were to repeat the words of former Attorney General of Enugu State, Tony Ani, you say, Chineze, you know it's only the old people in Enugu you know. Not one of them I'm not close to. If you see JJ Ibig, SAN, first thing he will tell me now, Chineze, I'm going to boil rice, because my mother was their cook. And I said, boil it fast, I'm going to eat. So I've maintained that link. I've held that chain for more than 30 years. So I visit his chambers every day. I come to court in Enugu. I have cases in Enugu. So that when he was 90 last year, I was there. I attended the service and came back. That was the day we had feeder week, and joined TJ in the feeder week. So the relationship my father has, the fatherhood, he has transferred some duty to him. He has transferred some duty to me. I can't say I don't have a father. I have it in those people you saw that spoke for him. So what is left for me is to nurture it and continue to nurture it. So he has a daughter in me. So that looking after my father continues with him, continues with Omenife, continues with Okoisi, Igu, and many others that are still around. Continues with Tony Mobo, continues with Ibik. I will fulfill my duty.
Like you said, today's lecture, Sunday is funeral.
Sunday is the service of song, because his cloak has been interred. Then every other group that had links with my father, that had ties with my father, I will close all that needs to be closed for them on that day, so that he can start his ascent.
Very big thanks for your eloquence, for your analysis, for your cooperation to the last platform to be published.
Thank you.